In case you missed it, these are the four young ladies who President Trump was referring to when he told them to go back to where they came from. These four freshmen say that they come to turn Washington upside down. Let's have a look and a listen.
I am not surprised when the president says that four sitting members of Congress should, quote, go back to their own country.
A message of gratitude and thanks to the solidarity that we have received from every corner of our country, from our colleagues to our neighbors. We are grateful for your solidarity, your encouragement, and your support in the face of the most recent xenophobic, bigoted remarks from the occupant of our White House. I will always refer to him as the occupant, as he is only occupying space. He does not embody the grace, the empathy, the compassion, the integrity that office requires and that the American people deserve. That being said, I encourage the American people and all of us in this room and beyond to not take the bait. This is a disruptive distraction from the issues of care, concern, and consequence to the American people. That we were sent here with a decisive mandate from our constituents to work on. Everything from reducing the cost of prescription drugs, to addressing our affordable housing crisis, to ensuring that the American people have more than health insurance, but health care, in the tradition of who we say we are as a country, a beacon of light and hope and of refuge. We want to get back to the business of the American people and why we were sent here, reducing the cost of prescription drugs, addressing the public health crisis and epidemic that is gun violence, addressing the racial wealth gap, and yes, making sure that families stay together. I also would like to just underscore the fact that despite the occupant of the White House attempts to marginalize us and to silence us, please know that we are more than four people. We ran on a mandate to advocate for and to represent those ignored, left out, and left behind. Our squad is big. Given the size of this squad and this great nation, we will not be silenced.
This country was founded on the radical idea that we are created equal and endowed by our Creator with inalienable rights. And yes, we have a long way before we fully live up to those values. As Martin Luther King said, all we say to America is, be true to what you say on paper. The eyes of history is watching us. This is a president who has said, grab women by the pussy. And to distract from that, he's launching a blatantly racist attack on four duly elected members of the United States of House of Representatives, all of whom are women of color. This is the agenda of white nationalists. Whether it is happening in chat rooms or it's happening on national TV, and now it's reached the White House garden. He would love nothing more than to divide our country based on race, religion, gender, orientation, or immigration status. Because this is the only way he knows he can prevent the solidarity of us working together across all of our differences. The only way to prevent us confronting the problems our country is facing, whether it is healthcare, climate change, student debt, or our endless wars. This is his plan to pit us against one another. This is how he can continue to enrich his friends and distract us from the detrimental policies that his administration is pushing forth. We can hold him accountable to his crime. He can take action. It is time for us to stop allowing this president to make a mockery out of our Constitution. It's time for us to impeach this president.
No matter what the president says, this country belongs to you. I am not surprised when the president says that 4 sitting members of Congress should, quote, go back to their own country. I am not surprised that he has turned our public education system under the leadership of Betsy DeVos into a cash cow to enrich himself and his friends. I am not surprised at what he's doing. But I also know that we're focused on making it better. We love all people in this country, and that's why we believe health care is a human right. We love all children in this country, and because we do, that's why we fight for education for all children through college. And so we'll stay focused on our agenda, and we won't get caught slipping.
This is not the first, nor will it be the last time we hear disgusting, bigoted language from the president.
Impeach the motherfucker.
We know this is who he is.
Impeach the motherfucker.
We remain focused on holding him accountable to the laws of this land and accountable to the American people.
What we're focused on are the hateful policies that are draconian and oppressive and life-threatening and family-separating that is being rolled out by this administration every day.
You might have noticed how when he said, go back to where you came from, there was an uproar through all of our communities, because every single person who's brown and black at some point in their life in this country heard that. Now, when he made the comment, I know that every single Muslim who has lived in this country and across the world has heard that comment. And so I will not dignify it with an answer, because I know that every single Islamophobe, every single person who is hateful, who is driven by an ideology of othering, as this president is, rejoices in us responding to that, in us defending ourselves. I do not expect every time there is a white supremacist who attacks, or there is a white man who kills in a school or in a movie theater or in a mosque or in a synagogue, I don't expect my white community members to respond on whether they love that person or not. We are no longer going to allow the dignification of such ridiculous statement. Every single statement that we make is from a place of extreme love for every single person in this country. Every single person wants to make sure that they have people in the halls of Congress that is fighting to make sure that they have health care, that they have an education that is suitable in the United States, that they have access to proper roads and bridges, that they have access to clean water and clean air. Every single person here in the United States knows that we are fighting every single day to create a more perfect union and to fight on their behalf. When people say, if you say a negative thing about the policies in this country, you hate this country, to me, it sort of speaks to the hypocrisy, and Alex and I were talking about this. When this president ran, and until today, he talked about everything that was wrong in this country and how he was going to make it great. And so for him to condemn us and to say we are un-American for wanting to work hard to make this country be the country we all deserve to live in, it's complete hypocrisy.
This president does not know how to make the argument that Americans do not deserve health care. He does not know how to defend his policies. So what he does is attack us personally. He tells us that I should go back to the great borough of the Bronx and make it better. And that's what I'm here to do.
I didn't do it on the House floor, and I'm going to be unapologetic in myself. 70% of Americans curse. I'm real. This is who I am.
We're gonna go in there, we're gonna impeach the motherfucker.
I'm rooted in where I come from, and it's very common for me and for many of my residents to say things like that.
It is?
And when your son looks at you and says, Mama, look, you won, bullies don't win. And I said, baby, they don't, because we're gonna go in there, we're gonna impeach the motherfucker.
Now, I would never use that language.
I'm apologetic about it. I'm definitely going to push forward in saying we have to impeach him.
The way that we hear and consume information is very different than how the next person might. I am grateful for the opportunity to really learn how my words made people feel and have taken every single opportunity I've gotten to make sure that people understood. Nothing I said, at least to me, was meant for that purpose.
The entire freshman class, I would argue, regardless of ideology, was sent here because Americans are sick of how Washington works. So why would I learn a broken playbook where lobbyists have taken over this place, where they influence all the bills, where we vote on things because that's how things have always been done here. Americans are not getting wage increases. Our government is continuing to sow dysfunction. Why would we operate business as usual when business as usual is not serving the public? There were members of Congress that did not vote for the speaker on the House floor the day of our swearing in, just as there are members who challenge her conclusions, who disagree with her. So do we from time to time. But that does not mean that there is a fundamental fracture or a dehumanizing going on within our caucus. But that doesn't mean that we fundamentally disagree or fundamentally disrespect each other's position and power and ability to be here.
She is Speaker of the House. She can ask for a meeting to sit down with us for clarification.
We're gonna go in there, we're gonna impeach the motherfucker. We're gonna go in there, we're gonna impeach the motherfucker.